You know, whenever you play a game for an unhealthy amount of time, you might have come across something you've never seen before, like a weird glitch, or small detail, or even things that not even the developers knew about. Once you stumbled upon them, you might think to yourself, huh, neat. Between the 3 years I've owned this game and the challenge video I did months ago, there were a lot of these little oddities that I found. So much so, I decided to make an entire video on my quote-unquote discoveries. I mean, as far as I know, most of these haven't been documented or even talked about, so I thought it would be fun to share some of the things that I found neat in Shadow the Hedgehog. Again, I'll be using the PS2 version in case you're wondering. First, we're gonna start off with my personal favorite. I really hope that was a good attention grabber. We all know R1 is used to strafe, and if we press X while strafing, Shadow will do a unique kind of jump. Each jump, except forwards, has their own cool animations. Man, that looks so awesome, I wish I could do that from a normal jump. Well, if you follow these steps, you can. First, hold the R1 button, then press X to jump. Then right after landing, simultaneously press X and flick the left analog stick in any direction. If executed correctly, Shadow should be doing a strafe jump, except much higher. Basically, we're tricking the game into performing a strafe jump at the same height as a normal jump. The cool thing is, we can actually pull this off while facing in any direction, so we can actually have Shadow facing the camera while he's flipping. Performing the left and right strafe jumps I found to be incredibly easy, but I just cannot do the backwards jump to save my life. I can do it while I'm on a Mad Matrix tile, but that's it. I can't explain why. This unique jump has no real purpose other than to look semi-stylish, but I mean, it's incredibly easy to pull off. I think you'll find a lot of enjoyment out of this one. I mean, I know I did. Another thing I found about strafing, when performing a normal strafe jump, Shadow will travel in a low arc like this. However, if we perform another strafe jump immediately as we land, we might get sent at a much sharper angle. So sharp in fact that Shadow lands on the ground before he can finish his flipping animation. I'm sure we all know this, strafing will force the camera to follow behind Shadow. There are some moments in the game where the camera will automatically change its position, like here in Mad Matrix. So, what would happen when we strafed during a transition like this one? The camera will stay behind Shadow. The strafe's fixed camera has higher priority over the game's camera transitions. Also, if the camera would pan around by itself, we can do things like this. Speaking of camera, go into the green terminal, reach the checkpoint, then transport back to the previous checkpoint. Once we go back inside the green terminal, jump over to the other side and... well, this fixed camera that wasn't here before is making it very hard for us to see where we are going. But not to worry, if we keep moving forward, the camera will eventually correct itself. While we're still in Mad Matrix, there's still a few things I like to show off. Right after the checkpoint inside the green terminal, you can do this. Nice. If you haven't seen my Shadow Challenge video, I would highly recommend clicking that link in the top left corner. Or right corner. I'm gonna be honest, I really don't know. I'm still new at this, guys. Assuming you did see it, you'll know that hitting a 90-degree angle will have Shadow bounce off of that angle. Well, apparently, the borders of all of the tiles are perfect right angles. Yeah, look at that. Also, again, you've seen the video, you know that the Mad Matrix Hero mission took me weeks to complete. Yes, I was very aggravated with this one. It even got to the point where I started running around all these tiles out of pure frustration. When we step on a tile, its color will change to either red, blue, yellow, or green. At least that's what I thought, until I look to my side and I see one of them is emitting this elegant lavender hue. My guess as to why this happened is because the game couldn't keep up with me changing all these tiles so quickly, which in turn made some of the data a little confused. If we touch it, we can turn this light purple into a deep yellow, although those are the only two colors it can change to. Obviously, we can press the square button to shoot. Notice how he sets the gun down when we let go of the button. If we hold down square, Shadow will keep the gun pointed in front of him. When doing this with a machine gun, bullets will continue to spread, which makes sense. But something like a pistol, where we need to press the button to fire every bullet, he kinda just holds it out in front of him. This kind of thing only works for firearms. Melee weapons don't have this detail. Ugh, that is nasty. Another obvious thing, enemies want to hurt us, but if we use the heal cannon on, say, this egg pawn, it will stop attacking us. When we come into contact with the healed enemy, we will surprisingly not take any damage, almost as if we're on the same team now. So we can push them around as much as we like. Just make sure not to hit them again, or else they will revert back to their original behaviors. This is also true for the black arms, but interestingly, the gun soldier is the only one that was given a unique animation. He will put his arm over his chest and might even say thank you. That's a really nice touch, I like that. I would have liked to see this detail on the other two, though. Speaking of details, at the beginning of Westopolis, if you squint your eyes at the top of the screen, you can see one of the buildings topple over. Yeah, that's the best footage I could get. My bad, y'all. Whenever you encounter a partner for the first time, a small cutscene will play, introducing us to that partner. We would usually see them somewhere off in the distance well before the cutscene is triggered. There are a few exceptions to that though, and the one I want to talk about is Knuckles in Glyphic Canyon. Knuckles is waiting on top of this pillar here, but we don't actually see him because, for whatever reason, he spawns in as the cutscene is triggered. However, if you were to take this route that I took here, you can very briefly see his model appear on the pillar right before his introduction. Hi, right now I'm editing the video and I found what I think is a silly oversight pertaining to the introductory cutscenes. So between the time they end and the gameplay resumes, there's a single frame where the name of the partner stays out, while Shadow and the HUD have disappeared. That is it. I thought it was cool enough to show for the video. Thank you for listening. This next bit of trivia actually comes from a comment on my challenge video. Someone by the name of Gaming Top 10 opened up the possibility of completing Lethal Highway's hero mission without weapons and vehicles by telling me something I straight up did not know about, I'm gonna be honest with you. He stated, and I quote, "The GameCube version has a bug where its health stays the same between deaths. I'm not too sure about the PS2 version." In other words, if we lower the tank's HP to say 50% and then we die, the tank's health will not reset. It will stay at 50% the next time we come across it. I tested this out and I can confirm this is indeed present in the PS2 version. Thanks for sharing this with me. I still kinda doubt this mission is possible, even with 2 players, but hey, if anyone's crazy enough to try it out, let me know if it works. Staying in Lethal Highway, after using the jump panels at the start of the level, run along the right side of the wall, and eventually you will find yourself running in place. Funny enough, if we actually look to our right, we could see a billboard that advertises Nights into Dreams, a very popular title from the Sega Saturn. In this part of Final Haunt, we need to use the vacuum gun to pull out this wall in order to create a platform so we can reach the red slime safely. At this point, I was still doing the challenge, meaning weapons were not allowed, so the only logical thing I could do was build up enough speed, jump, and use the slime. The reason why I'm even mentioning this is because Shadow is interacting with the slime, despite the fact he is well below it. While we're still here, I feel like pointing out something I personally find a bit odd. Final Haunt is affiliated with the Black Arms. You know, the main bad guys of the game. So, when destroying the bad guy's property, you think that would be a good thing. Like you're helping out the hero side. That should fill up your hero gauge, right? Nope! It goes to the dark gauge. The same can be said about Black Comet and Lava Shelter. At the very beginning of Black Comet, tiptoe towards the hoverboard until the circle icon appears above it. If you press that button, Shadow will jump on top of it, and then the Doom's Eye cutscene will interrupt it immediately. Once it finishes, we can see that we have duplicated the hoverboard. Here's something humorous. Whenever Eggman is the partner, he would follow Shadow with his floating radio device. I'm not sure what it's actually called. Whenever he speaks, he sounds like he's talking through a walkie-talkie.
Hey, Shadow! Some black creatures have infiltrated my castle. I'd like you to go and light those giant lanterns. They're part of my special defenses. Light the fires on the giant lanterns.
However, during Lava Shelter, they forgot to add the voice effect to most of his lines. So it sounds like Eggman is standing right next to Shadow.
Shadow, Gun has surrounded my base and are trying to bring me down. Activate the volcanic defense system to shield the base with my lava magma. Activate the volcanic defense systems.
Weird, right? You know what else is weird? Video game soundtracks on Spotify. Yeah. Bet you weren't expecting me to go there. Okay, I'm kinda cheating with this one, but I just want to talk about it. There is a ton of them on here. A Hat in Time, Assassin's Creed, Scott Pilgrim, Mega Man, just to name a few. Try looking up anything, you'd be surprised with what you could find. Sega also released most of their soundtracks on the platform, including Shadow. Sort of. While other games put their entire soundtrack, or at the very least, most of their songs on display, Shadow is one of the few exceptions. Only 30 songs are available. 32 if you count the Arc in Sonic DJ Style Party, and Super Shadow in Sonic and All-Star Racing Transformed. As much as I'm not happy about this, I understand. Copyright is kind of a bitch sometimes. I mean, think about it, that's probably why Nintendo never displays any of their soundtracks anywhere. Who am I kidding? It's Nintendo. They're a bunch of Also, before we move on, they misspelled Blue Falcon. I already joked about this before, but, I still find it hysterical that they never fixed it yet. And lastly, we're going to end this with something you probably already know. It's a glitch that will allow us to use Chaos Control, potentially for an entire level. First, completely fill up the hero gauge to unlock Chaos Control. Stand on one of the checkpoints, then press circle and triangle at roughly the same time. If done correctly, the checkpoint menu will appear as Chaos Control is being executed. If we look at the top corner, we can see that the hero gauge isn't depleting. This is because whenever we use the checkpoint as Hero Shadow or Dark Shadow, the gauge will not empty. In other words, when this is performed, we have unlimited energy, so we can fly directly to the goal, with a few exceptions, like Sky Troops. If we select a checkpoint while in this state... Oh! The game crashed. Okay then. Well, those are some neat things in Shadow the Hedgehog. If you already knew at least 5 of these things, you are legally obligated to like and share this video. And here is where I will put the outro card. It's probably not that good, but, tell me what you think.